in the mid to late 80s, the Cult had a lot of currency. They were influenced by Joy Division, Bauhaus, Susie Sue, and The Doors. Indeed, the last time the Doors played together, Ray Manzarek, Robbie Krieger, and John Densmore, Ian Astbury was the front man. He played with them, replacing Jim Morrison. And he was the best. He also fronted MC5, so incredibly prestigious guy. And Han chose Billy Duffy to be in the band. They have kind of three albums: Dreamtime, Love, and Electric. And those albums were absolutely superlative. I really liked Electric, but the first two albums, Dreamtime and Love, were par excellence. Kind of post-goth, post-punk. And back in the day, it was consensus gentium. If you knew songs from those albums and you were extemporizing with some guys, or you were trying to get into a band, you were probably in if you could play those songs. I remember when I joined, well, I was a founder member of Midway, and Midway are an important band because myself and Kevin Murphy went on to join Interference from Midway, and Midway's manager, Brian D. Ormond, ended up managing Radiohead. And on our first rehearsal session down in the old schoolhouse in Monkstown, County Cork, cold morning, and we were just standing around, what are we going to do? And Kevin and Tom had just left a new wave of British heavy metal band, and I had left a speed metal band. So we were kind of, what are we going to do? And just kind of eureka, Kevin started playing She Sells Sanctuary, and I joined in, and Tom joined in, and it was the Cult that got us going as a band. I was in another band just in between Midway and Interference called The Sun, featuring Paul von Menzenkampf on bass, Carl McCarthy on drums. I would go on to join Interference with Cal also, and the first three songs we played together were She Sells Sanctuary, Rain, and Brother Wolf. And more, we basically played several other songs from Dreamtime and Love. So if we actually did gig, 3/4 of the set would be the Cult. So kind of very, very important band. Intersections, interestingly, yes. With Ian Astbury, he actually played with Mike Garson several times, playing Bowie numbers. And Mike Garson was on I'm the One by Annette Peacock with Paul Bley and Barry Altschul. And I've played with both Paul Bley and Barry Altschul. Ian Astbury was also involved with Boris. And Boris were produced by Randall Dunn. And indeed they recorded in Randall Dunn's studio, as I did. And Randall Dunn engineered my album, Zemlya. His wife, Mel, and Randall himself played with Boris. And even Kang, who is on Zemlya with me, also played with Boris. Ian Astbury played on two of Boris's albums. With Cult, back in the late 1980s and early 1990s, I taught a guy from Ballincollig called John O'Mahony at the Wright Music Centre in Cork, around the same time I was teaching Cillian Murphy. And John O'Mahony was the protege and understudy of Andy Wallace for 5 years. And Andy Wallace engineered and mixed Electric for the Cult. So there's some intersections. The Cult have gone on. They're still, doing very, very well. Their idiom has changed a little bit from the kind of post-punk, goth, more into rock. But they're still quite an excellent band. And Ian Astbury is still one of the best frontmen in the game, and they have like stood the test of time and are still as good as they ever were. But back in the mid-80s and late 80s, they were the band to cover. Thank you very, very much for listening.